Mk3 from Cortina City. Welcome to another engine build video. We've got to get a car to Gibraltar, but the engine's knackered. So we took the engine out and we're carrying on rebuilding, especially the cylinder head. But join us.
The Uzi 9mm.
Okay, we're back in the workshop. Hope you like that little trip round town there, and of course the journey to pick up the alternator. We also got the water pump, as you know. There they are, back at base. We're doing a bit of multitasking, so engine block back to what we're talking about. I've painted the engine block up in heatproof paint, cylinder block paint it's called. The de-rusting station's cooking nicely down there. Remember we talked about the Rust X? Great stuff. You can basically do a lot of oh no, don't tell me that tub's leaking. I've put hot water in there and everything. Look, oh no, plastic should be indestructible. Oh no, this is hot water. I was about to put another wash on. Wash day tomorrow. Nothing clean, right? Nothing clean, right? I think this guy's a couple of cans short of a six-pack. Yeah, well, I was going to do a de-rusting thing, but we've burst another leak because I'm going to clean all the nuts and bolts associated with the vehicle, so that everything is clean. Just always clean. Wash day tomorrow. Nothing clean, right? No, it doesn't sound like Arnold, you're right. Mac, get to the chopper. Run, get to the chopper. If it bleeds, we can kill it. No, it doesn't work, does it? But everybody loves my Arnold. They really do. That's why they tune in. Yeah, so Pete's idea for a fresh wash on, a fresh de-rust, because it does eventually lose its power. What I was going to do is just take these out and donkey-do them in there, a little bit of a donkey-do. It's coming up really good. I mean, maybe not, that's aluminium, but look, that plate, lovely stuff. These wheels, lovely stuff. Let's delve in for our lucky dip. It's your lucky day. Oh, look, smells good, tastes good, smells good, real good. Flywheel, crank pulley. Oh, look at that alternator bracket. No need for the parts tumbler. It's lovely. That I didn't think that'd come up that good. So it just goes to show you don't always need to tumble. However, that would now go nicely in the tumbler. What's the tumbler? Well, we've used it on previous restoration videos. It's a tub that shakes like mad with loads of little bits of medium in there that sort of gently nibble away and clean stuff, and it all shakes. It's a tumbler, parts tumbler. Another plate come up nice. Hold on while I touch the screen. I've got it on screen timeout. And I've got a lot of nuts and bolts already in here cooking. That's going to need a bit more work. That's the oil catch can. Hello? But will this existing solution take the rest of the nuts and bolts? There is enough room enough. Oh no, it's dying off. These should be getting better now. That's weakened off. So basically, I'll put everything in here, then put the hot water back in this one, then wash all that out, start again. So I've overkilled on the nuts and bolts because I've got two engines worth. You know, I said I'd keep the nuts and bolts from both engines separate. I lied. So they're now all together as one, but they weren't always matched anyway. So I'll dump this solution. I think it's had its day because it's gone jet black. I think that's a good indicator that time has expired. Come in number 4, your time is up. Of course, we've touched a little again on AI. Pete C's obsessed with it, and you'll see why one day when it reaches your home and your phone and your life and your work and your job. You'll see I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'm not particularly into chemtrails, spike proteins, and other things like this. As soon as you get onto the conspiracy realm, you're in trouble, especially on YouTube, because you'll just polarize the hell out of yourself more than a 1970s pair of reactor lights. See you in a sec, Pete C. Gonna go and get rid of this water because this bucket leaks. Right, so that's the gubbins that have just come out of that solution, the last solution. That was an idler pulley, which I think, you know what, was a new one. It didn't look new because it's that gunked up, so we'll be using that. That was on the 1600. Stamped Ford, so I suppose it can't be aftermarket. Or is that Ford? That's Ford. It could have been a genuine aftermarket one. Let's finish it off anyway. That thermostat housing was filthy, but it's cleaned up. That thermostat itself, the actual valve, the housing's aluminium, so it doesn't really do much for oil deposits. That wheel could do a little bit more, but we're not using that, so I don't want to waste the solution cooking into that. They're pretty much done. There's no need wasting those. It's nuts and bolts really that I'd like to get rid of, clean up, just so I'm dealing with clean threads. It just makes for a better job. So I'll put all the nuts and bolts back in. Some of them are all right, but I'll put some of these back in the mix. I'll just tip them in. It's easier to remove these. Hold on, let's get a spare. Dump them in. Gone. Dump those in. Gone. And then let's put these parts that are done away. These are pretty much done. Oh, look, go crazy. It's nice just to get on with this. I'm using the downtime between parts really. There we go. That bucket. Oh yeah, there's the crack. Took a hit. Didn't spot that. Right, this is the Flexplate. Sorry there. That's shattered on Tina G on the motorway on the M6 going north. That, you can see the damage there. Look how it's shattered between here. Gone there and gone there. Now, remember we want to do that drill test. So we're going to drill into this and see if it's hardened or not. And that'll tell us whether or not my copy plate that I've made... Well, where is that copy plate? It's hanging around somewhere. Do you know what? My memory's terrible. I'm sure I've brought it in. Process, use your brain. Yes, I have. It's come back to me. There wasn't too bad a brain lapse. If it had not come back to me, I'd have been a little bit annoyed with myself. In here are two plates. One is a genuine plate that's undamaged, unlike that one. The other one's copy on a laser cutting machine, based upon this. Basically, I just said copy that in case this, because this is the last one. These are hard to get, right? These flex plates, once they go, you're running out of time. You're not going to get one. I searched high and low. This is actually Brambles. Now you might say, well, you've searched high and low, why don't you use Brambles? That's fine, but I thought, well, what if that one fails? This is the last chance I've got to get a template. So there's a new one, cut in steel. Do we use that or not? It's an exact copy. Answers on a postcard, answers in the chat. What's Pete gonna do? They're not balanced, by the way. Most of the balancing's done on the torque converter, because this bolts straight to it, so the mass of the torque converter takes over, and this becomes sort of incidental really, although you would think that if this was out, it's going to make vibrations, but there's no evidence of balancing weights, and it's, you know, it just doesn't seem like a balanced item. I just don't know, because this could have hairline fractures in it, and this could be on its way out, or it could be absolutely perfect. This, obviously will be perfect. Funnily enough, that feels heavier and stronger. So I thought that I could drill into this and feel the difference. Although I can't drill into that, I could drill into the equivalent piece of metal and just see. You know, like an offcut of this metal that this was cut from. If the drill goes through the same, I can only guess it's just normal steel. I don't know how you'd tell if it's treated steel or not. I know you could heat this up red hot and drop it in water, and I believe that hardens it. So that's a sideline to think about. I'm going to put it into Google and just see. So there's that. And then the parts off it, well, they're connected to this actually. That's actually rubies. Sorry, brambles. That's actually brambles. Because Bramble's engine is in KP, and that KP is manual. So I took the automatic parts off of Bramble's engine. Now this is curious. We've got something slightly different here. That is what it should look like. But there's a snapped piece here. I don't know what it is. I can't work that out. It's like the nose of something. I'm wondering if that's the nub off the torque converter. I didn't think the torque converter fitted into there, but that could well be the nose of the torque converter, is it? And is that why we shattered? Did the torque converter lock and then it ripped the plate? Because what is this? I don't get that. Something's inside there, folks. That's what you should be looking at. And that would be, let me think, how does this go? Yeah, this, how it works is, bear with me on this one, everybody, please. Make sure you're filming okay, Pete. Have a look at the screen when you're doing this. I wish I was on a nice plain surface to demonstrate this. Is it alright if I just, because this is OCD in me, bear with me, everybody. I like doing improv stuff. This is improv. Is it okay to just bury these parts? So I'm going to put some card down. That's all right. Let me go and get it. I'm going to actually keep you filming. I'm not going to switch the camera off. See, we're not all sanitized here. Some YouTube channels now, they go too clean and they lose that realism. And it's all in a nice studio, it's all sanitized, and then Starbucks buy them out, or the Pepsi Cola company buy them out. You know, it's, oh, it used to be a great channel. We used to have a great channel. This guy in his shed, and he just used to do these cars up in his shed. And it's all studio and 11 o'clock tea breaks nowadays. And the unions have got involved. So it's all gone woke. Cortina City, it's all gone woke. He sold out to the Coca-Cola company. He's gone woke. Now let's keep it all rustic and rough. Right, let's lay out our weapons of choice. Our flex weapons of choice. I tell you what, that's heavy, that. It's not, do you know, I have to flex my muscles to lift that. Boo, 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 boo. Right. Good job, I'm bending over here as well. It's a good job I'm flexible. If I had to buy these, right, this would cost you about 4,000 quid. So you'd need flexible payment terms. Ah, okay. That's that. Hey, they were totally improvised jokes. Not bad. Well, I do stand up and poetry. If you didn't know, Google Pete C Poetry or Pete Crompton Poetry, and you'll find me on YouTube, on other people's channels. And our band, this product, is out there somewhere too, with Alabaster, when we used to team up with Alabaster on the poetry circuit. That's incidental. By the way, I am back out on the road with the band. Just thought I'd let you know. Right. So, what I'm saying is, this is how I thought it goes. That bolts to the crank. Yeah. That bolts to the crank. There's no spigot bearing on the crank when it's an automatic as well. So that's the crank face. Then this plate is there, which doesn't fit. Is that a fail straight away? We've got an instant fail. It's laser cut in exact spec. It should go on. Well, that might decide it, folks. Yep, that decides it. That inner circle is not of the correct size, so this is just going to be a template, and we're going to end up with this flex plate. That can be our template, making note to have the inner size hole a mil bigger. Because, well, alright, I could file it out. It's very close. I've got to give them a little bit. These don't matter. Okay, I'll go back to the people who cut it and just say, could you do us another one, because it's not quite right. They'll probably do it for free. Let me just get some side cutters and cut off this tag. I like those tags with labels on. They're really nice. I do like tags with the labels on. Yeah, I like those. Right, that goes on there. Then this washer fits on top. Now that would be what you would see if you're looking at the end of the engine. You wouldn't see this. So that is a component which to me looks suspiciously like the nub off the front of the torque converter. But how would that work? Like, let's put it this, oh yeah, if the torque converter locked up, it would be bolted onto those 4 bolts, and then it would rip. The engine would tear round the flex plate. And if the nub or the nose or the knob of the torque converter was sticking out, it would rip that end off it. So in theory, when I go and look in the car, the torque converter should look different. We'd have to have one to compare. Now I've got a new old stock torque converter in a box in the back shed. I'm guessing that it'll have like a nose on it, and that's the nose. And if I look in Tina G's engine bay, it'll be ripped off. Well, let's go and do it now, because you know what? Why not? I like the fact that I can just take you with me anywhere I go, and that you're cozy at home, watching on your phones, your laptops, your tablets, your iPads, and your widescreens and your flat screens, while Pete messes about. So let's go outside. Papa's there, KP's there. KP looking nice. See how I've lacquered the rust? Look at that. Anyway, here we go. Tina, she's got to get out of the rain. This is horrendous, leaving the car here like this. Look what's going on. This is horrendous. I'm stranded. That's why I've got to do this. I can't push it at the moment. Right, there's a nose that snapped off. Like a guide nose. I think so. Something crazy's happened there. I'm wondering if something's locked up. It might be prudent to see if the ring gear actually rotates. The torque converter's free though. I'm going to have to look into this. That's a good job I've spotted that. Let me go into the storage shed, and in the storage shed is a torque converter. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, you know. You're now strictly off limits in the secret zone. Nobody's normally allowed in here. Exclusive backstage footage at the city. Exclusive. It's pointing right at us. It's Bramble's original torque converter, and I've got a new old stock one, and we've got light. Move that paint spraying device. Here it is. Right, that's the inboard side. You okay out there? Type away if you're enjoying the show, by the way. And don't forget, I'm going to do a membership thing, so can you join if possible? Patreon or the YouTube membership. We need to be getting a good couple of quid off everyone that watches, because I just got YouTube's whole year payment was 300 quid for 12 months of footage. That's all I got, 300 quid. It's a joke. I can't keep doing this for that. I mean, I know I've had a long break, but and I'm doing this for enjoyment, really, not for money. But it would be nice if everyone shoved some money this way, and I'll carry on filming and editing because it takes time. I will do it for nothing, don't get me wrong, but anyway, that's a sidetrack. I need regular cash. Donate now. Right. I used to be shy of asking, but I'm not anymore. Yep, there's the nub. Snapped off. You see what I'm talking about? So what would cause that to snap off? I just don't know. I just don't know. There's another Borg Warner 35 box with, yep, there it is, brand new, and a new kickdown cable, rare as hell. That is completely rare as hell. You cannot get kickdown cables, new old stock, for spares. Ain't going nowhere. So there's a brand new torque converter in here, should have oil in it. No, it's not dry. It should really have oil in that. A little bit. That cap's not great. No doubt the garage will tell me, oh, it's scrap. It's no good. I might have to ask the gearbox place. And now I'm thinking, am I changing the gearbox as well, or getting it refurbed? I've gone into new territory, folks. Because what would cause a flex plate to shatter like that? You know? You still with me? Long take this one, isn't it? Crumbs, I've been going on for 17 minutes. Wow. I hope this is just one segment in my editing. I don't want to be chopping this clip up, folks. It's what you call a ramble. So yeah, we were right. The nub of the torque converter has just snapped off in there. It doesn't really matter, we don't need to knock it out. I mean, it'll knock out easy, I would have thought, if you needed to, but we don't, because we're never going to need that. We've got this, so just use that. So I'll put this in the solution, we've got it then. So I think it's probably wise to use this flex plate. Sorry, I wasn't pointing up then, apologies. Wise to use this. Do we reuse the ARP bolts? They're not ARP, but they're the you know, the high tension bolts. Can you reuse them? People say if you Loctite them and torque them up correctly, that you can. They're all going in the mix. So all of that in the mix. I won't lose them, don't I? I know what they look like. Everything in the mix. May as well. That was just is now just reference, but I'd say that is Tina G's original. So that's where we're at with that. Power steering pump needs that job doing on the top. We can now put this away. That can go in there. This can go in there as well. And then I'll reveal those components. These pieces of cardboard, I get them from a local confectionery store, and they're good for when you're doing drippy engine jobs and you don't want to waste your cloths. Just chuck them in the recycling. But do you know what, to be fair, I don't put it in recycling. You know why? If I've got spots of oil on it and all that, it's not recycled properly. So a new set of bolts as well, just in case I don't like or I'm missing the correct type of bolts. So I've got some spare bolt sets. These are what I've accumulated over the years and just thrown into the galvanizing tanks when we've took other, you know, when we're doing the restos, I've just over bolted and just put everything in the mix. So there's a lot of spare ones, but we'll be needing like just the, so everything just matches. You know, that's an engine block. Oh, that's an engine block bolt. We spot it straight away. So that's side engine block bolt here. Is it? No, it's not actually. That's neck size down for those. It's going to annoy me now. You know what? I think it's that. Yeah, it's that head, but into there. Yeah. Stuff like that, if it's missing, you know, or not matching or whatever, I've got access to spare bolts if we needed to. I've not gone out my way to buy anything new, particularly that I don't necessarily need to put on it. That I had no choice. The alternator, the water pump, yeah, you know, I could have used that. Look at it though. You see what's been going on with that? When you leave them sat, that's what happens. It just starts eating away at it. It seems as though they like things to be flowing, but it's already nibbled at the edges. And that's a cheap, nasty one. It's light. This one, this is BGA pump. And it, like I said when I was in the car, I suppose that's probably not far off the same weight. Yeah, it's not stainless steel. And it could, I suppose it would, ultimately, would it end up like that? I don't know, it just seems nice quality. As someone points out, you've got a BGA one, that's what you've got. It does look very similar, doesn't it? But it's not. 2 ribs there. Hasn't got them there. Slightly different. This actually has an extra ear on it there. This doesn't have. I wonder what that was for. I hope this is right, you know. Why has that got a little ear on it? It's the same pump that's on KP, so I know it works. There's an ear there. Ear there and everywhere. That's interesting. It's not the alternator tie-through one because that's done. I think it is. That's interesting. I never noticed that before. That. I'll look into that as well. Well, I'm calling it a day for tonight. I just wanted to get another wash on. And I'm in pain because of that tooth. Oh God, it hurts. Actually, my whole gum's swollen up now. That's why I talk a little bit funny, other than my Lancashire accent. People say, yeah, you don't actually have an accent, Pete. See, sometimes it comes out, it's classed as Lancashire where I live. So, and then if I do switch into Lancashire, everybody thinks I'm making it up. But we're taught like that round here, you know. Like tractors, if the injectors are broken on the tractor in the farmer's field next door to me, the farmer will come up to me and go, he won't go, the injectors are buggered. He'll go, here, if injectors are buggered, lad. That's how we do it. That's the way it is. Anyway, I'll leave you with a painted block and a few other little bits. And I'm going to take it easy. Tomorrow is a day off from all of this. But at least I've got myself back into the projects for the mental health. And I'm back with this. Is actually, I've got a fitness watch. You've seen it before, I'm sure. This is the watch that annoys people when I don't have the strap through there. See it? And there's nothing wrong with it. I can poke that through if I want. But I don't. No idea why. This fitness watch monitors my sleep. Right, okay, so if you do this. This is one gimmick that I do like. I'm not into smartphones, by the way. I don't do social media and Facebook. There's last night's 85 score. It's the best sleep score I've had. And that's after I started making videos again. Hey! But the fitness watch is really good because I do a lot of running, doing 30 kilometers a week running now. That's great for your health. As you know, on one of the very last videos I mentioned this, running's good for your mental health, or walking, any outdoor stuff or physical activity gets you endorphins. You know what someone said to me? It kind of annoyed me. No, not kind of annoyed me. You can't be kind of annoyed. It annoyed me. They said that, oh, you're only running because you're an addict. You know, you're addicted to running, and they weren't healthy. I thought, well, you know, I've never heard another runner say that, but it's always someone who's lazy says it, you know. There you go, one of them things. I'm going. That was 20. I think I broke a record. That was 25 minutes. It wasn't all ramble, was it? It's Pete C, and you know me by now. That's why you're watching the channel. By the way, I've stayed at about 22,000 subscribers for about the last 5 years. Is there anything all of you lot can do to get everyone on board? Because there's people with 50,000 subs, and they're not seem to be promoting, so I don't know how they're doing it. So can we all go out and share some links and try and help me out? Just blitz it again. In the early days, Lee Holmes and my Patrons as well, not forgetting my Patrons, really hammered it. And God knows how he did it. But I think Lee Holmes did like a one-man mission. He's one of my Patreon supporters. Hello, Lee, if you're watching. And I could see the subs actually going up live as I watched the screen. And I just never got back to that. Anyway, there you go. I'm off. I'll see you next week. It's Friday tomorrow and I'm not doing anything. So for you, it's just seconds. For me, it's a whole weekend. Pete C for now. Checking out, and you're going to be feasting your eyes on the nice shiny bits going back on. The head gasket should have arrived, so we'll probably be able to chuck it all together. I'm going to have to go and do some gearbox research, but I'll leave that to me, and I'll be right back. See you soon, in a few seconds. Indeed, if it's not part 3, in a couple of weeks. Bye. Right, I'm back on. It's morning time for you. Seconds. Just mocking up some of the parts, starting to get my bolts together and just making sure that I've got everything I need. So I'm just starting to build up the power steering section, the alternator, water pumps. Nothing's permanently fixed. I'm just placing everything in excuse me, in the area. And today I'm going to do that power steering neck. I'm going to cut, chop and braze. I couldn't get that to work. That dented, and if you look earlier back on the film, this was dented. It's new old stock, but it was dented in storage. So I've got a donor body. Strange that they just have these bodies separate. Separate there, yeah. So I'm going to braze that neck onto there. There's a starter motor, apparently new old stock. I'm going to see if that works. The cam belt tensioner wheel locked, so there's like a lock spot there, and then if you twist it, it goes excuse me again, just got up. That is no good. It's going to fail at one point. It does turn eventually, but that's gone. I'm glad we spotted that. That's been on Tina G a while. I've got another one here which seems to be in good order. Certainly spins freely. Okay, that's had a dunk. I think they're a sealed bearing. Anyway, there you go. Flexplate. It's cleaned up. We talked about that last night, and I think overnight I've had time to think about that Flexplate situation and the torque converter and the reason why that we've got this snapped off. I'm thinking that once this Flexplate shattered, the torque converter was able to move, because there is some movement in the gearbox. The torque converter's on a shaft and it can move, so it snapped itself. I don't think the gearbox is locked up or anything. I think it's just as the Flexplate has shattered, then the torque converter can now move, and that locating nose is centralising the torque converter to the crankshaft. The torque converter tries to move, crankshaft stays stationary, and that snaps. It's weird because it must be separately fitted, because there's no way you could shear metal that clean. So that, I don't know how they attach that nose to a torque converter, but that must be what happened. And there's no way that a torque converter can lock with enough force to shear that rotationally. No chance, because the torque converter's fluid inside with veins and stuff. So it'll be because the torque converter's moved up and down. So we've got to just, the rest of the parts coming out of the de-rusting solution makes life easier. Just assembling all the parts clean, then another tidy up and then we can begin to permanently fit these parts. Start finding all nuts and bolts that we need. If we've got new ones, we'll use them. If not, we've got plenty. We've got plenty in here, cooking nicely. By the way, that's safe to put your hands in, by the way. That Rust X, reminding you again of the Rust X. It doesn't attack your skin or your hands. Probably better that you don't put your hand in there, but it isn't dangerous. Right, I'm going to test this starter motor. I've got these links connected to the Super Start over there. Saves having to get a battery. First thing that should happen with this is you should let's get an earth on it. I'd like to do this on the bench, really. That's what benches are for. Clip that onto there. This should fire the... Right, that fires the pre-engage. And then this should turn on this nut, especially if you go across, but you just shouldn't need to. No, that's not right. This sounds like it's seized. This doesn't sound good. No, that's locked up. It's got a sticker on there showing that it was new old stock. Whether it's ever been fitted, we'll look for bolt wear on the flange and see if it's got scratch marks from bolts, in which case it's not new old stock. It's been on the car, and it has. That's been on the car. So this will be no better than anything else. You can get these for 114 quid, high torque versions. That's been fitted, so it ain't new. And it's seized. Is it worth bothering with that? You know, you see that lovely sticker and you think, great, yeah, got myself a new old stock. That's not new old stock. It's been on. I wonder what the conditions of the bushes are, what it's like. You can get high torque version, as I just said. Like the new idea, they gear it down and something to do with the gears, and the lightweight, £114 I've found one for. This isn't Tina G's starter motor. Tina G's starter motor works, but had gone lazy. And I thought, oh, I've got a new old stock one that's been kicking around my garage for ages, looking at this sticker. But that sticker could have been on it when it was in the car anyway and just never come off. It's not new. This could be one that failed on me years ago and I've just kept it hanging around. Yeah, I'd like to unseize it, to be fair. I'm thinking of just dropping it straight in there. I've got nothing to lose. It's getting scrapped anyway. If you could get it freed up, what we could do with this is keep it in the car on this long distance trip we're doing, because if the starter motor fails on an automatic, you are stuck. It's one of those things, there's no way around it. You can't bump start the engine. So, you know, you wouldn't be able to get your car going. I suppose the only way would be on the crank end. There's nothing you could fit to that to spin it up quick enough. So a starter motor is an essential item on an auto to take on a long distance trip, because it is a get out of jail. Most other stuff on the car you can basically get, but if you didn't have a starter motor, you are stuck at the side of the road. And it could be done at the roadside anyway. You can pull a starter motor on the curb. What do I do with this? Where's it come from? Should we just put it in the scrap? You know, I just don't know. I think I'll just see what happens by dropping it in there. It's crazy because it's going to fill it full of water. Or should we just pull the cap off and see why it's seized? I don't know. It's probably not worth spending any time on. But so that option's out. I'm going to go back on eBay and order, which I was going to do anyway. I'm not going to put Tina G's working starter motor back on because it was going lazy, I noticed. Which is why I dragged this out of stores. I think, right, I got a new one in stores. I seem to think I've got yet another one of these. I'm sure I have, you know, that's clean. I don't know, maybe this is that I picked the wrong one. This could be Ruby's, actually. In fact, it probably is. And that's why it's here. I reckon in stores there's yet another starter motor. I'm sure there is, you know, and it's like wrapped up. That's the memory for you. Anyway, I'll go and have a little hunt and then we'll get back. Next time you see me, all this will be clear and we'll have a little bit of room. I'd love to roll out Ruby. It's raining and it's been raining for 2 weeks. It's July. It's
It is Friday the 12th of July and it's freezing. And I'm going to have to put the heating on. You know that? Friday the 12th of July 2024. It's pissing down and I'm going to have to switch the heating on. What a joke. Give me a summer. Okay, I've been into stores and I did find that I did have a new old stock starter motor. There it is. It was in the engine compartment shelves in stores, but it is for manual. It's right hand fit. Automatic is left hand fit. So this starter is off my car that's called Project Bramble. Now got an A4LD gearbox in it, which had a different type of starter motor. This doesn't work, it's seized anyway. This one, I don't know if it works, but this would be okay for Swampy, which is manual, and this would also be okay for KP. So we'll test that it works and put it back into stores. If we ever get a failed starter motor on KP, I'll put this in. And that's it. But they're a big heavy unit compared to the new lightweight ones, but it's in good order. We'll fire it up. In fact, I'll do it now. Let's just see if it works. Switching on the power feed. And let's just see what we get. This crock clip's knackered, but it'll work on the. Let's see if it pre-engages first. Just here, whoops. Throw the solenoid forward, which it doesn't, so solenoid, oh no, that's the wrong connector. Oh, there it is. This should click. So that's alright, and then this should turn. Slow though. Wants a little bit of lubrication, I think, over the years. Going now, that's storage. It's basically gone stiff in storage. I don't know what we'd do with that. I'd WD it, plus gas it or something, and then stick it into stores as a backup. I've just ordered a high torque starter motor. I also found some other engine parts that we may as well use up. I've got a head gasket. I didn't think I had one. There's a Reims one on the way, but these are okay. This torque line one's alright. I'll use this. Torque line are okay in the old days, Pinto 2000. I wish I would have known that before I ordered. So I'll have another spare head gasket, but there you go. Some parts found there. The car is out of the way, so we can now tidy up. I'm finishing early today. It's Friday and I'm finishing early. So just, yeah, getting bits and pieces together. Continuing on then. Right, looking good. A fresh start to the day. Just left here with me putting in those bolts there and checking everything's okay. I've marked up with a tag here, everybody. Torque all bolts, because what I've done, I've nipped these up just because everything's coming off again. Example, the water pump has not got its gasket on it, but I just wanted to make sure I've got all my parts and bolts. If I can use clean bolts, I will do. If not, these are now out of the parts degreaser, deruster. So I've got an arrangement of nice clean bolts. Not so much cosmetically, it's more so the threads are clean and they go in better. They look better, of course. They'll soon rust back. I've got this metal plate, which is not the right one for the exhaust, but I'll use it anyway. The exhaust I'm done in high temperature paint. The exhaust manifold, it won't last forever, especially port 1 always gets the hottest. But this VHT paint, it kind of lasts. Not like ceramic. When I've done on the other cars a ceramic, have a look at a ceramic one, see what you think. Even ceramic coating starts to fade out. That's rubies, it's still okay. You can tell that the hottest part is always there, and even the ceramic's taking a hit. Look, they say double coat them, so you know you'll always it's always a battle, your exhaust manifold, especially if you're using the car a lot. If you're just taking it to shows, ceramic will last you, but if you're high miling it like I do, eventually even ceramic will go. So the VHT paint's a little cheap way of just sprucing it up for the initial viewing of the engine, if you will. That actually held out quite well. Me and Richard painted it up, and to be fair, it didn't burn off. You probably got 5,000 miles on it and it starts to go, something like that. So the rest of the bolts, we'll work out what we need and what we don't. The alternator bolts, just something I want to show you before I move on to testing the fan belt setup. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this pulley off. Remember we said that we needed a different alternator because of the shaft size on the new alternator that was on Tina G. Even though it was new, it was a larger diameter here on that shaft, which doesn't fit the double pulley which I need for power steering. So that's the reason I got this Napa alternator. But anyway, they come with the collar here, if you see, and that has to crush through or slide through, and you do that by just putting the other bolt on here until that face, when you tighten it up, will meet that, and that adjusts. You'll see it happening now. I think I can do it. Is it going to be the usual one-hand situation? I believe there's an AI camera now that will track zoom and everything. It even learns your filming style. How about that for AI? Pete's filming style is copied into the memory of the camera, and it actually learns as it goes what you like to do. How about that? So watch, this will crush up now. It crush up, it just slides along. What am I saying? It slides on that collar until it's the right distance away. It's weird because you wonder how it actually works, you know, because that's actually a pivot point. So I don't know how it works, but obviously when you tighten this up, it's just a pivot point, if you will. The lock is done further up on that bracket. Talking of that bracket which holds this up, the adjuster bracket, we need to paint that. I'm going to use Extreme Chassis Black for that bracket. For now I'll just prime it, but the Extreme Chassis Black is around somewhere. Here it is. This is good stuff. It's Frost product. Sorry, an Eastwood product via Frost. Frost is a supplier in the UK of Eastwood product, and it's tough stuff. 3 times more durable than the original Chassis Black. Solvent and chip resistant, so it's great because you can just whack it all day long. I don't know if you could actually paint your engine in this. I don't know. Maybe not have the temperature, I'd have to check that. So that'll go for the alternator bracket, the alternator adjusting bracket. I don't actually need it for now because I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put all the pulleys on. Have a look at these pulleys as well, something to note. Oh, by the way, there's the Flexplate parts going into zinc, gold. Oh no, I don't mix my words up. Red lead. Right, but it's not got lead in it. Another red lead item there. It's zinc paint. Here's the alternator bracket. There's also these that need priming too. Nice and clean. Here's the pulleys I was telling you about. There's different choices of pulleys. So if you're out there doing what I'm doing and you're trying to get a power steering set up bit by bit like I had to do. By the way, if you are and you want these pulleys, I'll have some spares here, so contact me on Patreon and I'll do you these cheap, 20 quid a pulley. The double pulleys. Right. Let's see. You've got a dished version of the fan pulley. Here, look, that's deeper. It isn't that one. It's the flatter one. And indeed, I think there's 2 types. Yeah, there is even 2 types of flatter one. So you have got a choice of 3 Ford double pulley fan pulley wheels. Okay. In fact, that one's a bigger diameter. I think I'm going to rule this one out. This is 79
It looks like a 79 HF part. Has it got a Ford code there? Can't see a actual code. It should have one. All Ford parts do. It's not going to be that one. It's between this one and this one. Now this is 79 HF, but that's all. It's pretty universal, not specific to the car. This one I can't see, but is a totally different design. Now I can see a difference here straight away. You probably spotted this before I did. That's got a big cutout. That's got a smaller cutout. That size is normally the size of the non-viscous water pump, but even that hole looks too small to fit on here, is it? Let's have a look. This is why we're doing it. Yeah, so it's not that one either, because that won't go over there. That leaves us to this one, so we've just got to hope that this one is in the right plane. Now you saw me do that with the flat edge, but I may have yet one more pulley, but I think it is that one. So we'll bolt all the pulleys on, whiz this off. I'll show you how we get this off, this nut off easily with the impact gun. Spin it up quick. Might have to wrap a cloth around it and just crunch it and hit it, but if you don't do that, these are hard to undo. There isn't actually, well actually this one might have the Allen key in the middle. They don't all have it. This may have it. It doesn't look like it though. Some of them have a locking key in here. Can't see that. If it is, it's a small Allen key, which would struggle. I think it would just spin it if it was. So it doesn't look like it has. So yeah, we're just, all I want to do is just check that the alternator bracket adjustment point is midway, that the belts that I've got are right. I know they should be because of Ruby's setup. I've copied the belt code, the Gates belt code off this car. However, you never know. Something could be amiss. Something could be slightly different than Ruby's setup. Shouldn't be. The only difference being that this power steering pump is of a different size and type. However, you never know. So before I go and have my tea, I'd like to just leave this engine, because it's looking very clean, with its belts on. So in the morning when I come to it, it's just, I don't know, I just like doing it. Make it look pretty, get the belts on, make sure we've got all the pulleys, because evening time's a good time to Google around if you find you've missed something. While you're having your tea, you can order your parts and stuff. Good use of time. See you in a sec when this is set up. Right, I've got a socket on the end of the alternator, a cloth wrapped around the blade, and I'm going to hit it with the impact gun to get that, to get the alternator nut off. Okay, that's it. It quickly spins off your alternator nut. Like this, and we're off. We can get that off, and then it's just the last pulley of the puzzle is in here, and then we need the fan belts. Don't know where they are. They're knocking around, so they're on the bench. But I'll take those, thank you. Thank you very much. The alternator. Now, if you note, I've got the adjuster slot of the bar, the alternator tensioning bracket, inboard, whereas normally they're the other way around. But the reason for that is there's not much clearance now here between the inner wing. So if you adjust this, it hits the inner wing. Have a look, I'll show you what I mean. On this alternator here, the same setup, the bracket's going inboard, because it's almost, look at the clearance there, there's not enough. So when the car rocks side by side, if the bracket's adjusted midway, it hits the inner wing. So that's the reason. I'm not seeing a keyway on that. That hasn't got its little what they call Woodruff key. Does it come off with a wheel? No Woodruff key there. We've lost the Woodruff key. We're on the hunt for a Woodruff key, everybody. It's gone missing. Must have just fallen out. Right, we're on the hunt. The Woodruff key's gone AWOL.
we better go find it. Once we have, although I don't need it for what I'm actually trying to achieve today, however, I'd like to know that I actually own the woodruff key. That is your double pulley in place. And now it's time to put the belts on, see if they actually fit. That's the whole purpose of this. All of a sudden there's lots going on. The porter pack's been brought in. The tripod's ready. There's nuts and bolts. Everything I've got is laid out. The reason I've laid out the nuts and bolts is I may as well make use of them. The fact that I had all this stuff galvanised, doubles and triples of everything, we may as well put it all onto this. Why not? So going and just finding the best nuts and bolts, checking the pulleys. Then we needed to do the alternator. The keystone woodruff key had gone missing. I've had to nick one off another alternator, so we're ready to reassemble that and put the actual lock nut on. We'll use the impact gun to blast that nut on. I'll wrap the cloth around there and just spin it on. Quickly check it. So that'll be that. The belt initially is looking like it's too big. When I look at Ruby's, and I've copied the belt size off Ruby's engine bay, Ruby's got a different pump that's higher up, so the belts that I've ordered won't fit. They'll do as spares for Ruby. We're going to need a different belt. We're going to use a piece of rope to get an approximate size with the alternator bracket halfway adjusted. Alternator bracket's just gone into red oxide. We'll chassis black that soon, but not before we use it on here to get the belt size, and then we'll chassis black it. Otherwise we're going to be dealing with a sticky bolt. We've got the tower here, the filler neck, to repair. You may have seen previous parts of the film that this came new old stock but with damage. Tried to hammer it out, but it still isn't a good fit. Not happy with that. So we have got, crazily enough, when I bought the pump, they supplied me with a spare housing. It's a do-it-yourself tower housing, filler neck, cap repair. So we're going to slice, then make an insert using a bit more of this metal. I'll put you on a tripod for this. I think we might get on and do that now and get it out of the way. That means the porter pack here. Porter pack is oxyacetylene. It's a brazing kit. So we're going to braze on. I've got some rods, some pre-flux rods. We'll open the door for this one because it'll set off the smoke alarm for sure. So we'll have to wheel this assembly just to the door there and do it in the fresh air. Better anyway. So I'm going to get that out of the way now. We've got a variety of weapons to use today, ladies and gentlemen, in Patreon and YouTube land. You've got the XU1 Zoo, Mr. Zoo, the chop saw, or you've got a nice slitting disc. Mr. Zoo might get a parallel cut, I don't know. He could go straight through it, good old Mr. Zoo. I think I've got more accuracy by going freehand on the angle grinder wheel, so we're going to do that. It's goggles on time, folks. Let's go. On the tripod for you, we're going to slice the neck off of this. Here we go, right away. Okay, just use that tape there, that masking tape, to get a bit of a straight cut just by wrapping it around parallel. Take that off now. Goggles on and ear defenders, of course. that's the top of that part. We now slice again for the second piece. Looks like it'll be an easy braze repair, this one. And we're going to make a little sleeve that goes inside it just to make brazing easier. So we'll use a little bit more. Where's that gone? I don't think there's quite enough on this to use as the sleeved insert, really. It could be, you could cut that as a thin band. It's not worth it, it's too tricky. When the other piece that we've got, I don't know where it is, it must be, things keep going. It's around somewhere anyway. So we'll cut that now and then put the sleeve in. Then I'll crock sand around here, get that clean metal, because otherwise it's going to fume up. Then get the porta pack on, we'll see you outside. PC. If you're using your angle grinder, always have goggles and ear defenders on. Otherwise you'll be one of those slightly deaf people in the 50s and 60s at car shows go, hey, 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 because they thought it was big and clever in the early days to not use safety equipment. There's a line, of course, with safety equipment where it becomes too far, as you know, with health and safety. Example, I was on a call out at site. I won't name them, but we had to do full risk assessment to change a fuse. And if you had to use a soldering iron, a completely different set of plans was required because it was a hot item. Unbelievable amount of paperwork needed just to change a fuse. To be fair, the fuse holder at the back had melted because it was a high ampage fuse on a boiler. So we had to solder a spade connector, but the process for health and safety in that respect, I thought, was overkill. Here, this isn't. This is your body you're thinking about. Another example was, in fact, it was on the same job, would you believe? Talking about health and safety. On the same job, you'll love this. Oh, you'll love this one. Coming down from the shop floor where the machine was, I had to go down some stairs into the reception area. There was a lady walking past with a clipboard. I don't know what the clipboard was for. Anyway, I walked down the steps. I had my tool bag in my left hand. No, my tool bag in my right hand. And she stopped me and she said, can you hold on to the railings, please? Can't you read the sign? And sure enough, the sign said, hold on to the railings. The stairs were the most shallow angle stairs ever, but you had to hold on to the railing. Wow, unbelievable. Okay, I've cut this band, but it actually needs a little bit more taking out of it. This is the insert band. It still won't go in. I did cut it while it was still connected. It made life easier, but I'm going to have to cut another section out. It doesn't really matter if I undercut this now, because it's just for general support, but I'm going to cut another section out. Be careful, these slitting discs are deadly. That can cut. Careful with these as well. Really, you should always have two hands. Free hand like that's dangerous. You're talking about this. You're talking about El Chop Chop on your fingers. Very dangerous. I'm not going to do it. Lead by example. At least give yourself this. Come on. On your feet, Pete. At least give yourself this. Look, that's better. Okay? almost. Surprising how much you've got to take out just for an insert. Ooh, close. Nearly. A little bit more, and that'll be it. Just pick it up. So I'm just making a sort of sleeve to make brazing easier. There we go. So we're like that. And that should fit into this. I was trying to find the pump, it's bolted to the engine. There you go. So that fits, and I'll just run a nice, neat bit of brace. I'll bring you in. Am I talking too loud because I've got ear defenders on? Hello? Hello, sorry. Am I talking too loud because I had ear defenders on? Sorry about that. Right. Take the tape off. Obviously we've got to clean the paint off this. There you go, that's your insert to fix our power steering pump fillet neck. That was the point of this because it was crushed. And now when we go around with braze, it should be fixed. Okay, now obviously it's going to affect the height of the dipstick, but it won't be critical. Just to measure that total amount, it was let's have a look what we can get. We're going to be finishing, so yeah, I'm slightly higher at the moment on there, so it would be, that would affect the dipstick reading. There's an argument to take off the section to match that, so really I want to take a little bit more off this so you're at the same finished height. Okay, so we'll work that now, just with the tape. With the tape again, I'm going to make sure you're still recording because this thing has a habit of, where is that? If I put my hand there, right, is that in the middle of your screens? Are you happy there? Okay. Okay. Because sometimes I try and think of the audience, you know. Let's see. We'll be finishing there, so we want to cut off that much to get it right. A collar like that. Does look at a slight angle, that. Oh, this tape, I'm looking from there actually. Right, I'll take that off. Live, stay with me live. Let's just get rid of that bit. Then we're at the right dipstick height. Okay. Right, if I'm cutting there, you need to tilt on. There you go. Lovely. This will be a good repair now. Looking forward to getting a bit of braze on the go. So now it's crocky sander time, folks. We should have that waiting in the wings. I raise my voice slightly as I walk away from the camera so you get a reasonably consistent level of volume. And then it's crocky docky to do this. A lot of people writing in on the comments and when they see me at car shows and stuff, talking about croc sanders. And I said, we're not saw one on your video. And this is a Mk3 one. This is a Mk3 9032 using a 9x533 belt. And I'm going to show you the belts that I use. Hold on, look at them. Again, higher voice as we walk away. Trying to find the belt. Find the belts. We've got belts. Using zirconia ones. These are, I got them off of eBay, basically the blue type, the blue style belts. Don't use the brown ones, they're no good. Well, they're not as good as these anyway. In various grits, 40, 60, 80 and 120 I normally use on it. I must admit, the Mk3's good. The 9mm, it's more, for more accurate work. For knocking off weld ones, you're better off with the 12 wide types. But with the Chinatown type crockies, like the Pro Line one, and you can get some from B&Q, they're all right for DIY around the house. But if you've got a big car project on the go and you're going to be absolutely blitzing it, like you're doing a floor pan or you're doing, you know, a big welding run and you're getting in and getting the weld out, you might find you're going in with a flap wheel first on your angle grinder to take the bulk off, then you're tidying up with this. The Pro Line ones and the B&Q type crockies and the Black & Deckers, they just don't last. What goes on them first is the end bearing. It just can't take it. The end bearing goes. These have a replaceable finger which is readily available. The B&Q ones don't give you the links to the where you can get those new bearings at the end. You might find them. They just, I don't know. I've had the arm snap on them. The casting's aluminium and that snaps off. By the time you've done it, you may as well bought a Mk3, because you know Mk3's good. This was over £300, but it was worth it in the long run. Bearing in mind, from 25 quid to about 60 quid on your Chinatown or your My Mum's crockies, you got to work it out if you're going to be using it a lot. This is an investment long term. It's going to last you your lifetime. So this is a 9032 Mk3, which is what I like to use. It's got adjustable speed as well. Most of them have. Quick belt release. Pretty easy to do. You're off, you're out. In fact, this belt's ready for changing anyway, so let's put the belt on. And then that's it. It's very similar workings to the Chinatown ones, but just better construction. Yeah, and that's it. So that's what I use. So we've cleaned up the sleeve and the neck itself that's fixed, and then of course the replacement part, which again I've lost. It took me 10 minutes to find this. I hooked it on the end of the handle. Definitely something going on with short-term memory these days. It's terrible, terrible. Yet I can recall every line from, say, the Terminator film. You know, Sarah Connor. But I can't do Arnold's voice, but people like my take on Arnold's voice. There it is. On Arnold's voice. Mac, get to the chopper. Okay, so Mac, run, go, get to the chopper, Mac. All right, enough of that. That is ready. I'll show you. Pointing into oblivion, and you're saying, "What the hell are you pointing at?" Over here is what I'm pointing at, everybody. Using my hand as the reference point again, because the screen on the front of my DJI is very small and it's hard to see if you're centralised. We're going to wheel this assembly to the front of the garage. I'll put something over here. I don't know what I'm going to use because everything's going to burn, whatever I put over there. We're going to get some burnage now on our lovely painted power steering pump. Note to self, paint afterwards, once all the hot work's been done, you idiot. Oh well, we're not perfect. Who said Pete C was? No, he's not. See, nice to see the haters on as well. Welcome the haters as well. The thumbs down is get. Don't like and subscribe either. I don't care. Who cares? Right. As I just have you try and see one single episode I've ever made that says like and subscribe. It's up to them. They'll do it if they want to. You don't need to tell them. Oh dear. Stupid that is. They'll just do it anyway. I think you know how to use YouTube or what? Don't forget to press that notification. Oh, God. Not for me, thanks. Right, I'm going to braze. See you in a sec. I'm going to get my cab and boogie. Okay, that is brazed on, and the braze is sort of capillaried all the way round, but it is going to need crock sanding now, because sometimes the braze has sort of run down and blobbed up, so we'll wave it with a crocky, and that will help give a smoother finish. Then I'll probably go around with JB Weld. Okay, that's flattened off. I could get a torch on that now and look inside for light holes coming through. It's a good way of seeing if it's totally sealed, but no matter what, there's going to be a ridge here, if you can see. The braze is capillaried round, but there is a ridge. So I think I'm just going to fill that with JB Weld, which will also seal any potential pinholes if indeed there was any. There may not be. There may be. But the operation's gone okay. We could try the cap. I'm sure it won't make any difference because the cap fitted. It's not going to have altered anything. And there we go. We're locked on. Got ourselves the reservoir repaired. Just needs that skim now. And then painting in after. So JB Weld's good stuff. I'll just smooth it in and then leave it overnight and then file it off again. Might even go over with a bit of fine body fill to finish that off, but I'd like the JB Weld on before anything else because it sets like rock. JB Weld. Okay, so we'll move on to something else now. We've done that brazing job. So that was the porta pack, oxyacetylene. Got to do it outside, really. You don't want fumes, or at least by a well ventilated area for the oxy. Be very wary, it's explosive as well. If you're thinking of getting a porta pack, it's not an easy thing because you've got to get your gas from BOC, which means an account. I have used UK gas in the past when it's been heavy welding work, but for these days now, for occasional use that I get, it's not worth it. I'm just managing to just sneak my way around places in terms of getting the gas. So there we go, we'll give this an air blast down. There will be some fragments of braze inside the pump. We're going to vac it out, flip it upside down, blast it out the best we can. Hopefully we won't damage the pump. Don't know. It's a bit of a risky operation, but we had to do it. All right, moving on. Pete C at the controls, Cortina City. Right, I'm just moving in with the JB Weld. So there we have it, coming into your screens now. This is the overnight one. It's not the quick one. This is the overnight cure. There is a quick cure. I'm just spatuling it in, end of a spoon for me today, into that little groove, Madonna style. First I'll just get it loaded and then I think I might have mixed just enough for this because there's some excess I can use in a sec. And this stuff is pretty much chemical resistant to anything. Certainly will resist the heat in the oil. Body filler I'm not so sure about. You can get a metal based body filler as well, which is pretty tough stuff. I used it on Bramble's floor pan. I'm not going crazy with this. It looked like it actually brazed all the way around, but I didn't want to take a chance. And also, as I said, you could see the ridge. This will help as a kind of body filler as well as the sealant. Might take 2 passes. I think what we'd do is I can get that round now. What we'd do is do this, and if we do see any other pinholes, I'll just use dolphin glaze. So that can take the heat as well, but I think we're all right there, to be fair. Bearing in mind it's painted black as well, so that tends to camouflage it. I don't think you're going to notice. I'll take it around a little bit, as you can see. You're on the tripod, but you're coming in. See that? That's a JB Weld. Again, you can always put the torch in through the neck. Sorry, from the outside the torch, and look down to see in the dark. You turn the lights off and then you'd see any pinholes. So torch here, then looking in. I could do it now. Problem is I can never find the torch. Increasing volume because I'm walking away, the usual thing. I can never find it. What are you done with it? I've seen it, but before that I need a cloth. Before that I need a cloth. Right, got one. Sorry for walking off while you're watching this. No, I don't see anything there. It's not, I don't even think actually the oil's actually at that level. Let's see, max, minimum. Oh yeah, it is just on it, so it would need it if you want it to be right on it, you know. But I'm just looking at that now and I think I'm pretty happy with that. Can't see that leaking. No, there's nothing there. So we're good to go. Right, I'm going to have a little coffee break and then we'll get on to something else. Right, well the next jobs I'm going to do is just bring these in. And then get this alternator set. Just get that set right. Then we can measure the belt, because obviously I said before the belt was wrong that I've ordered. I based it on the other car, and the other car's got a different positions, power steering pump, so the only way is to set this alternator up like that. I'll just bring that in, that alternator tensioner. I'll put this tag on it, torque all bolts, because everything that would not be sufficient as it is now, and you can end up forgetting. So that is what we've got, those 4 pulleys there. We need that diameter, it looks like about 1,000. Guessing from what I did, we need some string and a marker. Let's get set up. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm going to go round like this. I think this will work. Should do. To measure the belt. I need this rope for lowering the engine in after as well. Oh no, I've got some chains. What am I on about? Blades, bats and chains. I've got some chains. Right. It's going to be something that I likey, thisy. So there, the crossed over point, mark that. I've still left a little bit on the adjuster, most of it on the tightening up of the belt side. But see, they might have a belt. I might be better off going a little bit halfway here. Maybe a little bit more out. Because I wouldn't want to get it and it's undersized. But let's just see. Go for that for now. Okay, rope going round reasonably tight, and then mark the crossover point. Load the pen. That's about right now. Crossing over there. and that is the length. Out it goes, and I just measure that distance. 1,000 by the looks of things. That was based upon how much pulley. Here's the other mark. There it is. I can see the other mark. I'm going to jam that with my knee, and I'm going to go that way. Off screen for you, but we're there, believe me. It is 1,000, just as I thought, exactly 100. Well, 101, but so something around the 100 length will do it. 101, we declass it as 110. So we're there on the tape measure, which is 1,000 mil, 100 centimeters. 101, so that's 1010. That is the length of the belt. Now I've got time also to check out pulleys. Remember we weren't sure. That is completely true. Actually no, that's on there, so I'm just out a little bit on this alternator here. That could do with coming forward. The alternator wants to go that way. Now, can you go that way? You could by packing out this front bolt here with a washer, and that would get you a little bit better, get you perfect. Let's see how we are with this. Yeah, and that'd help with that one too. And then those two are good. So power steering pump to crank is good. Can't tell on this one. That one looks good too. Yes, look at that. It's just glances the front of that. So that's exactly right. Because that's factory. That would be factory. That would be factory. This wouldn't be, and in theory this should be. So if anything was right, it should have been the alternator, because that is. It would have been this that I would have thought would be different. Pretty flush for me, and go this technique, it just hits it a little bit. It's good enough that. Go that way, coming in that way, just on the inside of there. There's not much in it, that belt will easily move. There's no need to alter that, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Just the alternator to pack out a little forward this way. And we can do that with a washer, and it's good to know these bolts. That's why I've got all those bolts out there as well. So when I pick the ones, they're picked for good. So this needs a packer to space it out, and there's room for it to move on that collar at the back, on the alternator's own collar at the back. It's one of the reasons I didn't nip this fully up as well. So a packing washer, which I'll be able to find. I know the type. I'll be right back. Like a double thickness washer, if you will. Pack this out and get that level on the front again, and we're done there. We can put the cylinder head on, and we're getting there. With that packing washer on the alternator there, we get a nice front for every pulley, all in the same plane. Give or take a couple of mil, but that's okay. Those belts will flex, no problem for that. That's set up to that, and we're slowly accumulating some shinier bolts just because we can. So I'm happy with all that now. I've put these studs in here, these cylinder studs, this normal cylinder head bolts with the heads ground off, with slots in the top which you can help to align your cylinder head up with, and then there's a screwdriver slot in the top of them, just coming up. There you go, just in the top. Show you. Helps you to line your cylinder head up. So you can make those yourself. We've got our head gasket on. The water pump can come off and get its proper gasket put on it. We'll start putting stuff back together. We can put the head back on now. stop me dropping some of the head back on now. We've done that end. Okay, put this on like so. We can get those bolts out after. That face wants a little bit of clean up there. I'll do that with a wire wheel. The new seals in there. We can put that little pulley wheel back. Tensioner needs to be, I'm waiting for that to arrive. Although I have found one that's good. Thermostat housing, I have ordered a new one of those. Didn't like that corroded one. So there's a few parts waiting in the wings, but for now, with that set up, I can order myself the belt, the twin belts. There's enough in the bracket here to pull the alternator back, so we should be good to go there for today. I'm going to have a tidy up now. It's England versus Spain, so I'm going to get ready for the match. Not really going to get ready for the match. I'm not a big footy fan, but can't miss this game. So yeah, that's JB World's got a long way to go. It's a long cure. So there, we're all making great progress here. I'm looking how neat and tidy this is. Not concourse, obviously. Just neat, just tidy and clean. Okay, see you in a sec. I don't know what I'm going on with next. I'll think of something, I'm sure. Right, I'm going to get these guide bolts out. Just flatheads. Slots, rather. Let's get those out. Magnet for these. Both just like that way. A lot easier using a magnet. Get one of these. They're great fun. Always come in handy. Dropping in the new head bolts. These are brand new. Whoops, not in there. Where is it? It sounded like it bottomed out too quick. No, it's right. Another one to unwind here. So these are great for lining it up. It's just a lot easier for your gasket. A lot easier when you come and drop the head on. You've got these four nice locating, I suppose you'd call them dowels really. I don't think we'll get a double whammy there. Yes! Two for the price of one there. Right. Drop them down there for now. Get these in and they're done. Two more of those. They're gone. And then these. There we go. Don't worry, we're not tightening them up just yet. Make sure we're located. This one always interests me. You have to take the spray bar off on that one to get it. That's reminding me of which part I needed. It was to look if the internet does spray bar grommets. Spray liberally, everybody. Just spray liberally. Come on, say it all together now. Cortina City catchphrases. All together now. Spray liberally. Where's it from? It's from bottom. It's Adrian Edmondson and Rick Mail. Spray liberally. All located. Just want to make sure we're all engaged. Two types of heads on. A T5 and then a more splined affair. I don't know what the difference is. My T5? T55, sorry. All the 5s, 55. Right, that is it for today. I just like to keep putting things back in. Don't think by putting the head on I've compromised myself in any way. I don't think so. No, right, well, we'll call that a day for me. It's tools down. I'm going to watch the footy. Catch you soon. I don't know where we're up to on this video. What I'm going to do is drop the footage, see where it's up to, and then I might have to do an outro, in which case saying goodbye and thanks for the support, patrons, YouTubers, and everybody. See you in a sec. Peace.